All right, everybody, how's it going? This is Alex Moore. We're going to get started in exactly 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Grab a pen, grab some paper, guys. Enormous special treat for every single one of you tonight. So I'll see you guys in 30 seconds. Just blast everybody. It's live. All right, here we go. All right, guys. Hey, Alex Moore coming to you live right now from Las Vegas, Nevada. Hope everybody had a great weekend, great Super Bowl, weekend. The last play of that game was absolutely insane. I've had a lot of fun out here hanging out with my mom and dad, spending a lot of time doing webinars and Google Hangouts and Uvu calls and conference calls. Just got back from Brad O'Cazin's place down on the strip, masterminding, game planning, 2015. And, guys, I'm so excited. Today was actually the first day I got my hand on our brand new product, Body Build, the first ever ready-to-drink shake inside of network marketing. And I'll tell you what, it literally tastes like a vanilla ice cream shake, you guys. 25 grams of protein, fiber, CLAs, the whole 9 yards. And, welcome to tonight's call. This is the Dream Team International six-figure mentorship call. And what that means to me, what that means to you is that if you're on this line right now, whether you're in New Orleans, Kansas City, Hong Kong, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Mexico, guys, if you're on the line right now and you're here, on a Monday or Tuesday evening, you guys, and you're fired up and you're on the six-figure call. So what that means is you want to be a six-figure earner one day and maybe even get to a seven-figure earning one day. This call is not an opportunity call. Okay, it's not a quick start training call. It's not a welcome call. This is the call that we do once a week that the elite get on the line. It's where I take time out of my day and I reach out to legends in the industry to come in and share knowledge with you and understand, it is now February, right? Brand new year, brand new product line. I mean, we did 200 million again in 2014, and in 2015, guys, it's all about you. The focus is on you, helping you go bronze, silver, gold, and eventually getting on stage, right? Convention's coming up in June. Phoenix, Arizona, BK Borrego, Chris and Heidi Powell, the Phoenix Suns, the whole 9 yards, guys, and we're all prepping for that big event in Phoenix in June, you guys, for the VMA International Convention. So I'm going to get right down to it, you guys. I'm going to spend a couple minutes here talking about who you're about to talk to. And let me just say, 2 years ago, I was fortunate and blessed to be on the young panel for GoPro, Eric Worre's, to take the Super Bowl of network marketing, right? I got about 5 minutes on stage. I got up there, I told my story a little bit, and I was so nervous, I was so scared. I was like, a little tiny Finding Nemo type fish in this big whole pond of, six-figure earners, seven-figure earners, six-figure a month earners. There was even one guy there that was making $1 million a month. I was freaked out, and there was this lady that came and talked to me on the side of the wall, and she came up to me and introduced herself, and I didn't really know who she was at the time, but she said, hey, great job up there, you got some great energy, you're enthusiastic, you're going to do really well in this business, nice to meet you, my name's Lisa Grossman. I said, cool. And then I saw her on stage as a seven-figure earner trainer, getting the stage for like 30 minutes. I got 30 seconds. This lady got 30 minutes. So a year goes by, I get invited back to GoPro. I actually got to share the stage, with her and a lot of other great people, and I watched her talk at that event in Vegas, and I took notes like a frantic maniac, and I'm like, you know what? I got to go find this lady. I got to talk to her one-on-one or two-on-one or something, and she was busy taking pictures with everybody. She's like the Beyonce of network marketing, and it's the last day. I'm walking out of the Mirage Hotel with my cousin Brock Morton, ambassador leader, probably on the line right now, and I see Lisa there with her her husband, and I see them, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go talk to her. So I stop her, and this lady takes literally about 40 minutes. The event is over, it's all said and done, and she takes about literally 40 minutes and talks to me, or I guess Brock and myself, about culture and how to win and how to build a business, guys. So enough with that. Here's the deal. This is Lisa Grossman, guys. This lady, understand, okay, I just found out she's built teams in the network marketing arena to 1 million people. Okay, not a couple thousand, not 10,000, not 100,000, 1,000,000 people. Okay, she still gets crazy amounts, you know, 6-figure a month in earnings. She's made millions upon millions of dollars. She's actually in the future right now. That's how cool she is. She's in the future right now in Hong Kong. She just woke up. She's going to do a call for us, guys. And I'm telling you what, we had Brian Crothers on the line. You know, a phenomenal gentleman, made lots of money. We had Robert Hollis on the line. Phenomenal gentleman, made lots of money, okay? Lisa Grossman, okay, she is the queen of this industry, guys. Holton Buggs, who is making $1 million a month in another company, refers to this lady as one of his mentors. So you're not talking to just somebody. You're talking to the mentor's mentor. I feel blessed. I feel fortunate to have the relationship, you know, with her, and I cannot thank her enough, guys. So with that, I'm going to let Lisa share with you guys a little bit about her story, you know, why she's so excited about network marketing, and then I'm going to, you know, we're going to do a fire round here, and I'm going to drill her on some of these questions. And if you're not taking notes, take some notes, guys. You have no idea. She can charge $10,000 for a 30-minute phone call, and she's doing this live because she's a kind-hearted person and she cares about people. So with that, I'm going to pass the stage over to the queen of network marketing, Lisa Grossman.
Wow, with an introduction like that, I was wondering what you're talking about, but thank you, and it is so thrilling to be here. I want to thank everybody that's watching. I know your time is valuable, and I know that you're excited, and I'm really grateful that you decided to take some of your time to come hang with Alex and I think you'll enjoy it, and I hope that you get something out of it. I love network marketing. I tell people all the time I suffer from TB. That's true believerism, and that's because I know that it works, and I know that I know, and that is always with me every minute of every day of every week of every year. And the reason that's important is I don't feel the love every minute of every day of every week of every year, but I know the reality because I believe in my heart that it is the last frontier of what I used to say for about 10 years was the American dream, because I was American-centric and an arrogant American girl. I've spent so much time internationally over the last decade. I actually spent about 4 years based overseas, that I now know the dream is not an American one, it's a global one. And there is nothing better that anybody will ever find than network marketing for changing your own life and impacting the world and making a difference in the world as we know it, and really turning things around and having fun while doing that. So because of the belief level that I have in Alex, I think that's really been the key to my success, because I'm belief on steroids, and nobody can tell me that it doesn't work. And that's always propelled my business. Everything else comes through repetition and through hanging around people that are smarter than you are, which I've always been good enough to able to do, and people that know more than I am. But when you believe and you know, nothing stops you, and that's really been my good fortune. Like you know, Alex is correct in the story, except that he tells it from his point of view. Let me tell you mine. I sit in every event that I go to, and I take notes, because you always can get something. They always say if you go to an event and you can get one thing from the event, that it's worthwhile. And the reason that's important is Eric Worre's events are jam-packed and they are nugget-filled, and every minute is intense and great. But I've been to a few events in my lifetime where all I got was that one thing, where I spent 2 days and I had to walk out and say, well, here's the one thing I got. But what was impressive about Alex to me was in 5 minutes, he lit up a stage. The energy, the enthusiasm, the unbridled passion for what he was doing. But what I saw more than anything was the belief. He knew that he found it. He knew that network marketing was it. And it came across in 5 minutes. And I knew that he was going to attract people to him because of that certainty that he knew. And I just wanted to know him because I knew it was going to be something that he was going to be something that I was going to enjoy watching for the next 10 years, because it was going to be like a comet rising. And for those of you that are working with him, you have the benefit of being in that trajectory and learning from him. And there's nothing better. I've had mentors like that my whole career, and it makes a big difference. So I'm thrilled to be here. Alex?
Awesome, awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate that, and you know, can't thank you enough for being with us here tonight. But I know you have a lot of knowledge. Obviously, you've been in the game for a long time. I mean, you've built just crazy amounts of teams and stuff like that. So, the calls are only about 30 minutes long. So I kind of just jotted down, what I thought was the most important, questions to get answered because, we have a lot of people on the line right now. It's going to be recorded. It's going to be on YouTube. Thousands are going to see this thing. And a lot of people out there, like you said, they believe, they want it bad. But, a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people there's a lot of young people on the line. Right now, I'd say, 85% of this call, probably under the age of 30, young entrepreneurs, excited, fired up, studying, hungry for knowledge. And I just have a couple questions here that I think everybody can benefit. So, Lisa, your entire career, you made all this money, built crazy amounts of teams, had, insane impacts on people. Can you think about, what was your one, aha moment when you just knew, like you said, that belief that I had? When did you really know that this was going to be Lisa Grossman's, career to build and leave a legacy for generations?
Well, interesting question, because I actually have I have two phases of my career. I had phase one, where I thought I got it, and phase two, where I really, really got it. And here was the difference. We all want things. And when you're younger, you guys in a way you have a big advantage because you haven't lived long enough for life. To 20s, you still believe many things are possible. That by your 30s, you convince yourself or not. So you're still in that phase. And people don't get what they want, Alex. This was my big aha moment. We don't get what we want. We get what we picture. And what I mean by that is I can sit down and ask a lot of people what they want, and they'll say, oh, I want a big house, and I want fancy cars, and I want this, and I want that. But for a lot of people, if they've never had those things, they want them, but they can't picture it. Imagine you go out and you say to somebody who's only lived in an apartment their whole life and driven a secondhand car, and they'll say to you, sure, I want a house on the hill, I want 5 cars, but they don't really see themselves there. So as much as they may want it, their mind doesn't even believe it's possible. So they can't really get it. And my first phase of network marketing, for about 10 years, I was like a $200,000 a year earner. You know why? In traditional business, I had made about $200,000 a year before I ever saw network marketing. So I believed that was possible. I knew I had to do a mental shift. It was a new business, but I could see myself making $200,000 a year because I'd already done it. Then all of a sudden, 10 years into my career, some things had gone on in my personal life. I needed to do more. But what happened was, all of a sudden, I'm making $1 million a year. Well, in year 11, I didn't get 5 times better. I didn't go to sleep one night and wake up with the secret to the universe. What happened? All of a sudden, I could see myself being that $1 million earner. And it's because I started asking different questions, and that was my aha moment. We get questions, answers to the questions we ask, and I started asking questions like, what do those guys that are making $1 million a year know that I don't? What are they doing that I don't do? What secrets do they have that I don't have? And I realized they don't know anything I don't. I've been doing this enough years that I understand it. They could see themselves in a bigger game, in a bigger arena, in a bigger playground than I saw myself in. And once I changed that, everything changed. So I think that that's the biggest secret, is what we picture is what we get, not what we want. It's not enough.
So what we picture is what we get. So you're talking about, kind of like Bob Proctor, one of my mentors, talks about, seeing, almost closing your eyes and seeing your future self. Seeing yourself, visualizing what you want.
I'll give you another secret. It's very interesting. I've interviewed a lot of people that are now millionaires. Most of them, I have to say, are in network marketing, but quite a few entrepreneurs that aren't. And here's what's interesting. If you take them back to the, I won't say we all live in rags, but the proverbial rags to riches type of mentality, and you say, what did you really want when you started? They're not altogether that clear on what they wanted in the beginning. Like, they didn't say, well, I want 5 houses and 6 cars and Rolex watches, but they were very clear on what they didn't want. I didn't want to go to a job where if I was 5 minutes late, they could fire me. I didn't want somebody telling me that I had to chew my food at noon because that's when the lunch hour was, even if I wasn't hungry. I didn't want to have to ask permission to be at my son's Little League game. I didn't want to, have to have my children come home at 6 o'clock aftercare because neither my wife or I could afford to be there to wait for them. And it's interesting because most of the successful people that I know, their short-term want list was the things they wanted to eliminate from their life, not the big list of luxurious items they wanted for their future life. And that's another aha moment for me. Sometimes what propels us to the next level is not the desire for things that are better, especially in the United States. It's pretty comfortable in the United States. A lot of people are not successful, not because life is so bad, but because it's too comfortable. So the list that gets you off the couch sometimes is what don't I like? What do I want to get rid of versus what do I have to be happy?
Yeah, and there's also people on this line, people are going to see this video that, they're at a spot and they're comfortable. We just got our 1099s. Some of our guys, in the company. I was with a young guy today. Made almost $250,000 last year. He's comfortable. He's happy. I mean, and when you're under 30 years old and you're getting checks in the six figures, a lot of people can get comfortable. But what I always tell people is, you can never be too comfortable, right? You got to always be pushing more. You got to always be striving for more. And I think what you said about picturing what you want is huge. You talked about that short term and then that long term. We actually teach the short term desperate why, and then we talk about the long term, vision. It's like you said, if you go find somebody that's been in an apartment their whole life, it's going to be pretty tough for them to see themselves in $1 million home, in California one day when they've been living in a one-bedroom, for 25 years. So that's some great knowledge. If you're not taking notes, guys, you are literally insane, guys. Be taking notes.
Something else you said that's interesting.
Yes. She's literally dropping nuggets.
Something else you said that's interesting. When I got started in network marketing, I was one of those people. I certainly was comfortable financially. As a matter of fact, when I came to network marketing, it wasn't because I wanted to make the gazillion dollars. I wanted to match my income. Be careful what you want, because that's exactly what I did. Another reason I didn't jump further ahead, got what I wished for. I wanted the freedom. And I look back at some of the very best people I recruited over the years. It wasn't that they were desperate. As a matter of fact, network marketing is not a full-time answer for desperation. That's why so many people should start, part-time and graduate up. Well, what it does is it gives you control of your destiny. I could never be comfortable if I got up in the morning and felt that my tomorrows were in somebody else's control. I don't care if I was making $1 million a year. If somebody else could take it away, fire me, make decisions that could take it all away and I couldn't recreate it. In network marketing, when you find and you guys are a phenomenal company. I love your owner, and you have true security. But if God forbid something ever happens, once you know how to do this, nobody can take what's between your ears, and that's your true security. And you have that because you're in business for yourself, and there's nothing else like it. And that's where you can be comfortable with that once you've achieved that, but never comfortable with where you are. You always have to be going for the next mountain.
Always be reaching, always stretching. And Tony Robbins on an audiobook last night said, happiness is progress. And that really stuck with me. A lot of people think happiness is the big home, the big cars, the family and this, that, and the other. But he said true happiness psychologically is progress. There's a lot of, there's super rich people that kill themselves because they're not happy. Money's not going to make you happy. It's the stretching, it's the dreaming bigger, believing bigger, and then obviously achieving bigger.
I think that once you have money enough to take care of what you want to take care of, you start to realize it's just a way to keep score. The only reason that successful people care about it is we have to believe that we're always doing something new, reaching for the next rung. Otherwise, what is there? You can never be finished, because if you're finished, how would you get through the day? Right. And in this business, here's the beauty, I think. The bigger your paycheck, the more of an impact you're making. It is that simple. It is the fairest business on earth. So you always want your check to grow, not because you need more money. Go build schools in China. We've done that. Go give your money to charity. Go do whatever you want with your money. But the bigger your check gets every month, it is concrete proof that this month I was able to touch and impact more lives. This month, what I started, what you started, what we've started is reaching out and changing the world more and more, touching more people, allowing them to have a better life tomorrow than they did yesterday. And when you get that, when you understand that this is the only business in the world, that the better you become at teaching people to be better than you are, the more money that you make, wow.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, moving on. This stuff is just liquid gold right here, guys. Okay, I gotta also ask this question, one more time. You've lots of success, big checks, impact, building schools in China, built teams into 1 million people, 700,000 people, recognized internationally all over the world. In your early days, now, some point in your career, was there ever a time where you were going to throw in the towel and give up the play?
Oh gosh, yes. And still, this 26 days a month, something isn't working, something's upsetting you, something's frustrating you. I think they call that life. But, there's those 4 days a month. The very best thing about the business, by a long shot, is the people. There's no question. And you know what the very worst thing about the business is? The people. People are human beings. And there are days that are frustrating, they're aggravating, they don't go according to plan, everything goes wrong. Many, many, many times. Because people, if you let them, on every level of life, will break your heart. And in network marketing, once you get it and you see what's possible, the hardest thing is the realization that other people don't get it, or they don't get it on your time frame. They get it on their own. So when you want it so badly for them and you see so clearly how it can make a difference for them, and they have this amazing chance to take it, or you get your hopes up that they're going to be the one and they don't take it, or it doesn't happen in the time frame that you thought it was going to because these people don't see it, or that's the way you're viewing it, of course you want to quit. And I can think of many, many times that happened, till I realized a couple of things. There are only 2 things you need, 3 things you need to be successful. You need a large group of people, no question. It's an interdependent business. You cannot do it alone. But who those people are, they're blank faces in the crowd to be filled in who their names are when they prove worthy of the attention that you are willing to bestow upon them to help them reach their success. And they decide by their performance, not you. Because the other thing you need is a good company that will not let you down. And the third thing you need, the only particular person you need, is you. And if you've made a decision to make this work and you've got a good company behind you, then the people, whoever they will be, will show up and they will let you know who they are. But until you figure that out, wow, you want to quit all the time. And the second thing is, most people quit because their expectations aren't managed properly. I think that people get caught up in the most ridiculous thinking because they don't sit down and just ask the next question. Ask the next question. Do I really believe that I can build a business and get rich in 90 days? Well, of course not. Who would believe that if you only ask it? So when you're a little bit more realistic, then you want to quit less. But having said that, 106 years later, been all over the world, and around and back and forth 6 times, I still have those days. And then every now and again, you're sitting in an audience and you see some 27-year-old kid on stage, brand new, lit up like a Christmas tree, excited, and you remember, if you ever get caught under with the nonsense, go get 5 new distributors or 5 new customers and look at what you do through their eyes. Because when you look at this through the eyes of somebody who's brand new, you remember why you love it, why you do it, and then you don't want to quit anymore.
Right. Love it. Love it. So even you have days. Even you have bad days. Even you have days where you feel like, oh my God. And, I remember early on, for everybody listening in, we're up to, a whole lot of viewers now. I remember the day, I just started off in the business. I went 0 to diamond in about, 6 months. And, Vima's a binary. And my weaker leg, profit leg, overnight in 1 week, I went from like 85 orders to like 28 orders. I was devastated. I was 21. I was literally in this living room right over here in tears, crying, like, oh my God, this is not what they said. This is so much harder than I thought, blah, blah, blah. But I kept going. I had 2 choices that day. I could have threw it in and quit, or I could have, kept on keeping on. So if you're listening in, if you're one of the couple hundred people on the line right now, guys, keep on keeping on. At the end of the day, it's 100% worth it, like Lisa is saying over and over again. Okay, here's something. You've been exposed.
I'll be back, by the way.
What's up?
I'll tell you, they'll be back. Don't get mad, because I had that happen to me once. I lost an entire leg, and I was so mad. And again, they didn't get it, but I didn't. I rose. And here's what's interesting. I don't get mad at people because life is long. And just because someone's on a different road than me doesn't mean they're wrong. And like 7 years later, because I kept that relationship, everything goes full circle. That group came back, ended up being one of my biggest legs yet again. And I just got to, and I didn't say I told you so. I thought I told you so. But I didn't say I told you so. And, all you have to do is, if you last long enough, they all come back.
Hey, and I'm with you. I've had that in my 4 years. February in 10 days, it's gonna be my 4-year anniversary in VEMA, and I've had that. I've lost some good friends. I had a young guy a couple weeks ago. He's making about $500 a month, and he wanted to go to a different deal, and I didn't bash him. I didn't yell at him. I didn't scream at him. I said, you know what, man? Good luck to you, but I'll be honest with you. I'll still be here in 10, 15 years down the road. You know exactly where I'm going. 100%, and where all our leaders are going. And you know what? Let me know on keep me updated on your success, because BK Branco says all the time, forever is a long time. And it's funny you say that. There was a couple that I signed up like February 11th of 2011, and these guys left like January 30th to a different company. They were $500,000 a year in VEMA, left, went to another company, hit $500,000 a year over there, and they just re-signed up in VEMA 4 years later.
I was very familiar when that happened a couple of years ago with a very big earner over there, the number 2 or 3 guy, as I remember. And it's interesting because it's like kids, though. That's what we always have to remember. People sometimes have to go around the world to find their way back home, and you just have to respect it, because if you keep the relationships, and that's really my biggest aha moment was, people are human, and sometimes we have to take vacations from each other, but if you always wish them the best and always take the high road, they always come back.
Yep, and I cannot agree anymore. When you're talking to people, say you're actively enrolling, or you got a new, you go into a new city and you're meeting some of the leaders and stuff. Obviously, in your whole group, and I know you've built, probably hundreds, if not thousands, of six-figure earners in your career. What are some characteristics you see, say, with you, people like you, Brian Crothers, the Eric Worreys, the Tom Alcazans, I guess that inner circle of people that are just, crushing this thing, speaking to GoPro, the whole 9 yards. I wrote down, what do you believe is, some of the top characteristics that tells you, before it happens, characteristic that tells you someone has what it takes to become a big success story? What are those kind of red flags that you look for?
Well, it's funny. I was asked this about a week ago, and we could all go through a list of character traits, but I think the first one, of course, and this is laughs, but I think the first one is vision. And the reason I say that is we go back to, you don't get what you want, you get what you picture. If you don't see it, you can't transmit it to other people. And largely what we are is storytellers. You only do 4 things in network marketing, really. You ask questions, you listen, you tell stories, and you gather people to events so they can get a bigger picture or validation of the stories that you've been telling them. So if you don't see it, it's hard to tell stories that will help other people see it and get them to see it. So I think vision is number 1. After that, I think that what really brings everybody who's successful together is a really key understanding. If you go ask average people, and when I say average, I don't mean that there's something wrong. I mean most people, before, let's call it that, most people, what it takes to be successful in anything. They think it's 6 parts how to. How to do this, how to do that. And I'll bet, especially with new people, 98% of your phone calls are, Alex, how do I do this? How do I do this? What do I say to this person? What do I say to that person? And it's always wanting all this information of how to. And folks, how to is important, believe me, and yet all very, very available. If tomorrow you wanted to learn how to build a car, you can go Google how to build a car, and you can get a how-to manual from an expert. How to is available. And everybody thinks it's 6 parts how to. If you asked me, or you asked any of those people, including yourself, they would tell you it's 4 parts how you think, 1 part being, making a decision and sticking to it with perseverance, half a part not letting the clutter get you off track, and half a part how to. And the reason I say half a part how to is 99 times out of 100, the recipe's available. When you started in network marketing, the how-to was available. And back in the time, the first person who ever opened up Russia, he had to go write the recipe. But once he did, the how-to was available to the rest of us. And what's most odd is I've met a lot of people that are successful, and some of them, if there was one part they were able to do it without, it was the how-to. You say, how did you make $1 million? And they'll say, I didn't give up. I just kept failing and failing and failing. I tried this, I tried that, and eventually I did it, but I really have no idea how. So if you had to lose one thing out of that 6-part recipe, if you have the other 5.5 pieces and you didn't have the how-to, you'd figure it out.
Right.
So I think that what most successful people understand is the how-to is important. Get the recipe, but once you got it, understanding how to think and understanding how other people think and understanding that right thinking and right vision applied to the recipe is how you're successful. Not because how you do it, repetition makes you better at that. First time you can make a phone call or do a presentation, you're not going to be very good. First meeting you do, you're going to suck. Get over the fear. Be prepared to suck. Guess what? 10th meeting, you're going to be better. Still not very good. 100th meeting, you're going to be downright okay. 200th meeting, you're great. I don't care who you are. You've done it 200 times. I can take a monkey, and by the 200th time they've done it, they're great. You know what the difference is? The monkey for a banana will do it 199 times. If you're willing to do that, you will be too. That's what I think great people understand, is they're willing to know and willing to suck. Because every new thing you do, if you go back to riding a bicycle, there's the suck till you don't, till you're okay, till you're better, till you're great. Skills that way. Thinking, you got to be willing to think differently.
Wow, I'm just blown away for a second. Okay, so think differently. I got that part, and the one nugget that I really got from there. You don't have to know how, you just have to know. And it's funny because when I was up with Bob Proctor, like a month ago, he said, I was talking about my goals, and I carry a goal card, and my goal this year is a pretty big deal. And he said, you know what, Alex, you don't have to know how you're going to do it, you just have to know. He said, my income went from this to this, like that. And he goes, Alex, do you know how you made $1 million? And I said, I know a little bit. He said, you don't really know how you made $1 million. You just went out there and did it. Because he said most of what you had to do it, you didn't have to think about how you're going to do it. You just went out there and figured it out and thought differently and thought you could do it. So I think everything you just said is just right on the money. And everybody listening in, guys, this isn't just for people that are making millions of dollars, guys. If you're at bronze, you don't have to know exactly how to go gold. You just have to think different. You have to, like you said, you have to see yourself. Paint that picture, burn that picture into your subconscious mind. See yourself at gold. See yourself at diamond in the BMW. See yourself.
Make it easier. Let me give you an example for other people to see what we're saying. Just stupid example. If I told you, and this was for the girl of your dreams or whatever the motivation to get you to do it, that today you had to make the perfect crepe Suzette and crab Benedict like they serve at the Ritz in New York, and I gave you the recipes. You have to practice a little bit and everything else, but with those recipes, after a number of efforts, you could make it exactly the way they would serve it at the Ritz because you'd have the model and the recipe, no doubt. But that doesn't make you a chef just because you can prepare it the exact way the chef does. Doesn't mean you couldn't be a chef, but what makes the guy at the Ritz the chef and you not? Not that he can prepare that recipe, you just did it. He sees himself as a chef. He wants to be a chef. He lives as a chef. And the fact that he can follow the recipe is just what he does. But how he thinks and how he sees himself and how he lives every day is what puts him one day as the head chef at the Ritz and you not. Not his ability to make the recipe you just made. And it's the same thing. You know what you did. I made phone calls and I said this and I said that and I did meetings and all the different components to make $1 million. Anybody can learn how to do that. But how you thought about it, what you saw, what you did with it, what you believed, what you were transmitting, that's what took you to the top, because it's how you think about what you're doing. not the components thereof, because the component parts are easy. Anybody can do anything. Anybody can do anything well with enough repetition. But knowing how to do something and knowing how to take that what you know how to do and thinking about it and putting it and going out and changing the world with it, it's all how you see yourself and how you think. And hanging around people that think differently. You said another big aha moment for me. Let me tell you about the last 2 years of my life and why I'm so excited to be here. I don't know if the last 2 years of my life have been the most profitable. I'm willing to bet they have been, but I'd have to call my husband and say, pull out all the books and evaluate all the years and everything else. But the last 2 years of my life, I spend 99.9% of my time these days with world-class people, like you. Not all world-class at network marketing, but world-class at something. I'm world-class at something, not everything, but everybody's world-class at something, and they know it. Everybody watching this, you are world-class at something. For me, I'm okay at building a network marketing business. I'm world-class at understanding the business of network marketing. That's what most people call me for. You are a world-class builder and motivator. Anybody who's world-class at something knows other people that are. And when you hang around world-class people all the time, it infects you. You get better. You think differently. You see things differently. You want to get great, spend more time with people that think the way you want to think, that live the way you want to live, that approach life the way you want to be. That was a big aha moment for me.
So surrounding yourself with people, like-minded people that are better than you. I think a lot of the problem, not a problem, but some of the situations, people listening in right now that are younger, that are 19, that are, I'm 25 years old. I mean, not.
And you're old now. You're an old person, 25 now. What does that make me?
I'm closer to 30 now than 20. So I got the beard. I'm looking a little bit older. But people that are hanging out with people that that aren't reaching and stretching and going for things in life, and sometimes I post a lot of stuff, and I've built. I got some influence, and I've got a pretty big following of just people now off the motivation stuff. And sometimes people message me and say, sometimes you're too harsh and you say certain things. Like I said, don't spend time with people that are not making you better. If you want to get fit and get in the gym, right? Drinking the bodybuilding, getting in shape. Don't go hang out with fat people.
Okay.
You want to get. You know what I mean?
Let me use my age to temper this a little bit for people that think you're too harsh. He isn't saying, don't ever talk to your drinking brother again because he's your brother. What he's saying is limit your associations with those that are not serving where you want to go and expand your associations with those that do. He's not saying don't ever talk to your family again. He's just making the point. So he's not too harsh. He might be too honest. Because, in other words, you might not be ready to hear it, but the truth isn't going to change. You just may not be ready to hear the truth yet. So don't get mad at somebody who's being honest with you for your own good. Because it took me many, many, many years and many, many situations in my life to come to some realities he's trying to give you at a young age. And you go out on the internet and hear my story. You don't want to, go through the lessons I went through to learn the things at 40 that he's giving you the opportunity to learn at 20. So listen with wise ears, because that's a good thing to do.
Right, exactly. Lisa, we have a lot of young people, watching this tonight. Obviously, the whole YPR, the young people revolution. Now we're the young professional. And Eric Worre talked about it and talked about the movement, all that kind of stuff. And for the newest, I know we have some brand new people on the line right now. For some of the newest people on the line. And young, what would the advice be to those individuals? Because obviously, you and I both know, once you quote unquote made it a little bit and you have some influence and you're speaking and stuff, people tend to come to you. We were just talking about, I know he's watching right now, Vincent Ortega, you've known him for years and he's crushing this thing. He's going to make what I did was cool. He's going to make me look like a little kid, swinging on a swing set in 90 days. But, you said that he contacted me, because what we did. So I'm talking, to the people, that don't have that influence, they don't have that big following on social media, that aren't, quote unquote, they haven't won yet. I always tell people, there's two types of people. There's winners, and there's people that have not yet figured out how to win. I don't believe in losers because, I was 20. I was a drunken college idiot at 21, and I flipped the switch and figured it out. So what kind of advice would you give to the newest people just signed up? They're excited. What would you tell them, in the next, 90 days to 6 months, what they need to be focused on?
Okay, first of all, I don't want to upset anybody who's watching this, but it's not about you when you go out to talk to other people. So take the pressure off. It's about them. You see, when you first get involved with network marketing, when you're making a decision, it's about you. But once you make a decision, and it's okay when you decide to sign up if you're not sure. It's, we all say that. The day you sign an application, you don't have to be totally serious at that moment. I'm not sure that any of us were at that moment. You don't know, sometimes you want to be on the inside to really figure it out. But before you pick up a phone and call somebody else, you need to be sure that this is what you're doing. Because other people aren't looking for you to be a great success in life or to have a great story that you may think they are. They're looking for you to do what you say you're going to do, which is to be their guide and their support. And when you're in a company, all you have to be is a tour guide. Jim Faubert, who is one of my mentors who I adore, says, if your lips are moving, it's to be point, guide, or direct somebody to a third-party source of information that is not you. To introduce a speaker that is not you.
Hold on. Hold on. Say that one more time. That was
okay.
Just that right.
And I do this to this day, by the way, Alex. I put people with Curtis. If your lips are moving, it's to point, guide, or direct somebody to a source of information, third party preferably, that isn't you. I can point somebody to a website. I can guide somebody, and because when people get in the business, you don't want to be all that stunning with your own prospects. If it was Alex and he called me for advice, I'd say unless you're talking to a leader who has previous network marketing experience, a brand new person, point, guide, and direct, because new people are doing one of two things when they're looking at you, when they're looking at the business. They're either saying, boy, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that, which is what you want because it's a business of duplication, or they're saying, gee, I can't do that, I can't do that. Alex can do that, but I can't do that. And when I first got started, I was a pretty good salesperson. I mean, I could talk. And I would sign up all these people who did nothing because I was so good at the way that I was closing that they would sign up, but they would be off trying to get as good as me. And I'd say, why aren't you talking to me? Well, I can't do the presentation the way you can. And I can't do this the way you can. And I just stopped that and said, well, that's not what I want. So all you have to do is remember, it's not about you, it's about them. I built my entire businesses for 25 years after I woke up and stopped doing that by asking 3 questions. Are you happy? And I don't mean are you happy, did you have a cotton candy kind of a day? Are you happy? Like, are you satisfied? Is life where you want it to be? Is it as it's going? And notice, folks, I didn't say do you have enough money, because a lot of people have money but are not happy. They are they are in a rut, they are bored, they are burnt out, they are stressed. So if you ask enough questions, you have conversations with people. Let me back up and say this. What's everybody's favorite subject, Alex?
What's in it for me?
No matter where you go in the world, everyone's favorite subject
is them.
Exactly. So the key is forget the story you don't have yet. You don't need to be interesting to them with your great story. Be interested in them and find out their great story, or what turns out their not so great story. Ask them, are you happy? Because eventually the facade will stop and they'll drop because they're not used to somebody being interested in them, and they'll say, you know what? I'm really not that happy. And the next question you're going to ask them is, great, do you have a plan to change that? Now, you're not asking them if they have a plan because you want to hear their great plan. You know they don't have a plan. If they had a plan to change it, they'd be working their plan. They wouldn't be talking to you. But what you want them to do is you want them to connect. You know what? I'm not all that satisfied and happy. And guess what? I don't have a plan to change that. Great. Would you like to see one? And here's the line that throws a lot of people off, but it made me a great deal of money and helped me change a lot of lives. Alex, it may not be for you, although I'm sure you're going to love the product. But if you see what I see, I think together you and I can crush it and do something special. And if you don't, that's okay too, because at least you'll be out there looking for a plan, and you deserve to be happy. You deserve to find something that'll get you the life you want. And you know what's really funny about that? is when people see that you put them first, when you take the pressure off, and they realize you're just asking them to look, but acknowledging right at the front that maybe it isn't for them, they look at it. They're willing to look with an open mind. And if you can get enough people to look at the things you point, guide, and direct them to, and the people you put them on three-ways with so they can hear all the different stories, not yours, but yours because you just started. And here's your story when you just start. I understand how you feel. I felt that way too. I was unsatisfied. But then I saw this, and you know what I discovered? I discovered there was another way. I discovered that I didn't have to, do what I was doing. And I haven't made a lot of money yet. I haven't done those things yet. But my life changed the minute I realized that I could do something different with my life and I wasn't boxed in the way I thought I was. That's your story. This is where I was because I used to believe this, and look where I am now because now I know this. And folks, the biggest stories of change are a change in perspective and a change in knowledge, because the million-dollar stories like Alex's are as stunning and as inspiring as they are rare. You have to tell them because they're proof that it can be done. But you know what the stories are that really motivate the regular everyday people? Guess I love what I'm doing because last year I was working 2 jobs and I never saw my daughter, and now I'm down to 1 job and I could afford to buy her ballet dances and I have the time to go watch her. Those are the stories that make people really stand up and say, if she can do that, maybe I can.
Right.
Sorry,
it's not about the money. That stuff, you're just, every line you're saying that we could probably write a term paper on. So it's not about them, you guys. If you're listening in, you're out there prospecting the marketplace, you're promoting the business, you're talking to new people, whether it's coal market, World War market. I heard that about a year ago. Somebody told me to ask lots of questions. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Are you happy? Do you have a plan? If you don't have a plan, try my plan because it's working. I mean, talk, see it through their eyes, you guys. I mean, what we do here, whether it's Vima or any other company, guys, we're professional problem solvers. Okay, we're professional problem solvers. People need help, okay? And it just so happens we have phenomenal products that people already spend money on every single day. So, it's like if people knew what we did, they would do what we do. And like Lisa said, point, direct, and something else to somebody else. Leverage, guys. Leverage a 3-way phone call. Leverage a webinar like this. Leverage a cold can, leverage a YouTube video, leverage something else, guys. I watched Brad Alcazan talking to a prospect leverage his dad on a phone. Brad made $2.5 million last year, and he's leveraging his dad on a 3-way call. Okay,
and so teaching that person to use 3 ways.
Right, 3-way call. 3-way calls, guys. I mean, you cannot be telling this. And I know a lot of you are capable. I know a lot of you are great closers, and you're really good, and you're great, but you're platinum. Some of you are platinum. Some of you are making $1,000 a month at Diamond, right? Leverage upline. I leverage my parents.
The original mentor. Let me tell you a piece of advice that changed my career. I don't know how many words this was, but he said, Lisa, it's not about what works, because you can make a lot of things work. It's about what you can duplicate. And that's what Brad was teaching. I can't duplicate me any more than you can duplicate you, at least not right off the bat, but I can duplicate 3-way calls.
Right.
I can teach people to do that, and that's important. What can you duplicate? You want people, anybody can on day one, a brand new person can call their friend and say, you've got to go watch this movie. You've got to go listen to this meeting. You've got to watch this webinar. You've got to get on this call. You've got to talk. You've got to listen to so-and-so's story. On day one, could you get up and explain the comp plan in all of its entirety in an hour? I could do it on day 165.
Yep.
And I'm good, or thought I was anyway.
Yeah, it's funny because someone made a joke about it, and they said, I bet Alex can't even, he probably can't even explain all 9 bonuses on the comp plan. And it's true. We have a bonus called Global Bonus Pool, and I don't know all the percentages. I know it pays out 4 times a year, and it's a big check, and that's about it. Holton Bug said on stage, he said so many people are MLM professors. They read every book, they watch every webinar, they making T-shirts, they're making cool videos, with GoPros and stuff. And Holton Bug said, you know, it's funny how most of the top earners don't even know the freaking comp plan because they're always busy doing. They're always doing. You know, too many people are aim, 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 aim. They never fire. You know, my mentality is ready, fire, aim. Right?
You're ready, fire, figure out what you did wrong and do better next time.
Right. Start shooting off. I remember getting in the business. I was presenting, you know, hour one to people. Everybody told me no, but I was still trying. I was still doing it. And, you know, you get better and better and better and better. You can YouTube old videos of me at like platinum, and I was not a great speaker. I was not a great presenter. I was scared. My hands were sweating. I was peeing down my legs. I mean, it was a rough road, you know. But like Lisa said, you have to have perseverance and keep pushing. So wrapping up here, you know, pretty soon. One last question, and then I'm going to have you do a, you know, just a motivational segment and just try to, you know, get everybody's blood boiling a little bit because you got my blood boiling at GoPro. But really quick, you know, Lisa, this is more of a VEMA detailed-oriented question, but I know it can apply to anything. You know, we've had many people who joined VEMA, you know, really divinely, you know, during massive momentum. You know, we've had a lot of people join during massive momentum. You know, that 2012 to 2013, we went from like 2,000 orders to like 15,000 orders, 19 six-figure earners. I made $1 million. It was out of control. But here's the thing. Many of them have now faced some adversity, and they're finding it harder to build their business. What words of advice would you have for those people who signed up and woke up with crazy momentum, and now they're like, oh my God, it's not going 100 miles per hour anymore. I'm freaking out. What's going on? What kind of advice do you give to those people?
Isn't it great now we can actually go build our business? See, momentum is a wonderful thing. In a way, I'm not an internet marketer, but everybody talks in these terms today, so I'll kind of use them. There's the group, and everybody talks about the size of their group. There's a big difference between a group and a team. A group is everybody. Everybody from the person who signed up and drinks a bottle of energy, a can of energy drink, to the person who's running with you, you know, matching your pace. That's the group. A team is a very small group of people that make amazing things happen. My biggest group was over 1 million people, and I was with that company for 8 years and would still be there, but it was bought out and went public. So it was just one of those kind of things. You know, it wasn't the same company. But I will say that 500,000 of those people were in the People's Republic of China, and that's like 50,000 people anywhere else. So it wasn't as impressive as it sounds. But all of that was like 30 key people. 30 key people made, if you really, and some others, but really 30 top earners influencing the entire world. When you have high momentum, it's just people joining everywhere, and it does lots of volume. What will impress you is how much volume you can do with a much smaller group of people when you really build with the people. Because we don't get paid on the number of bodies that join a company, or the number of, and the initial orders pay well. What we're paid on is the amount of product that is moved every single month. And when momentum isn't as high, you tend to get deeper into your business, deeper into the individuals. Find the talent, find the 30 people that can make it happen, and they create the second wave of momentum, and it's a different kind of momentum. Out of it comes a knowledge base where you look around and you realize that you've got this core group of 25, 30 people that can take over the world. That's what's happening now. Look at the footprint that VEMA is expanding around the world. It's bigger than the United States. And I'm not suggesting you should run off to other countries. What I'm suggesting is that you can build a global empire from a smartphone in your hand and a spare bedroom out of your home, because you never know what road leads to what road leads to what road. It's now time to drill the depth and start realizing that the business can be much bigger than your backyard if you drill in depth and get more into it with the people. And that tends to explode as well, Alex. It just explodes a little bit deeper from you, and it's like priming the pump, and it happens overnight, and it's going to happen here very, very soon. And I think you're headed to a next round of momentum anyway. The last couple of weeks I've heard, you know, Vincent, I've gotten so many calls with stuff starting to move toward VEMA. I think that a crazy wave of momentum is coming anyway.
Yeah.
The question is, will you be, what did you learn the first time around for all of those that you were facing a little bit of adversity that you can apply to improve your results and your retention the second time around?
A lot. We learned a lot. I personally learned a lot. It forced me to read a lot more books, listen to more audios. I don't really watch TV anymore, except for the Super Bowl, and occasionally I'll watch a show with my mom, but that's about it. And I'll be honest, Lisa, the momentum that we had 2 years ago was a big deal, but the things that I'm seeing happen right now in some of these different areas of our team, one group, specifically is just, and he's watching right now. He said, "Tell Lisa I love her," but it's just scary. It's almost scary because, like you said, we learned a lot. I learned a lot. It's almost the bigger you grow, the more that the leaders actually need to work to train everybody, care for everybody, love on people, build the relationship.
You asked the question, so I'm going to give you a serious business answer, even though it's probably a little heady for a lot of people, but they'll grow into it. It's crowds are great, but when crowds come very, very quickly, eventually there's so much noise that they're running into each other, and it can kind of stall certain kinds of growth. When you get leadership, when leadership starts to duplicate, which is what's happening for you now, you don't end up with a crowd as much as you start to get something that's much more tribal, and that can expand quickly because when you have that kind of momentum, you get lots more bodies, but you can't grow the leadership as fast as you're growing the bodies, which is why sometimes the retention is hard to maintain. When it ebbs off a little bit, the people that really got it, the leadership starts to go. Look at the leadership base and the knowledge you have now, and when the next wave comes, you're going to see, and it's coming, you'll see it's going to be impressive. You're going to see it. I always like round 2 better than round 1. I think round 1 excites people and shows them what's possible, and round 2, they have the knowledge and the wherewithal, and they're ready, and they keep it.
Yep, and the ones that quit after round 1 and they thought it was over, they're going to be sitting there just, and you know what? That's their own issue, and forever's a long time, they'll all be back. Okay, here's the deal. I'm getting my phone out, and I'm going to record you for a minute, and this is kind of like when Eric Worre, what he did to me when you first saw me on stage. He asked a bunch of questions, and then he said, "Okay, Alex, stand up. You got a minute. Go."
What would I tell people if I only had a minute to tell them?
Yep. So ready when you are.
Okay, let me think about what I would say to people if I had my minute. Okay. Are we ready?
We are ready. You're on when you're on.
The message that I have for people is always the same, and it's don't be focused on what other people are doing, only yourself. The only person that you're competing with tomorrow is the person you were today. Focus on the future, focus on other people, and always remember, whenever you sit down with somebody, it's not about you, it's about them. Be interested in them, focus on their story, focus on helping them solve their problem. Even if in the apparent conversation, you don't seem to be the answer at this moment. What you have doesn't seem to be the answer at this moment. Still focus on them, because here's what I found, and Alex is right. People generally don't know. People are looking for someone that's certain. People are looking for someone that knows. People are looking to follow anybody that seems like they have an answer. And even if people don't join you today, they'll always remember the one that defies expectations. People are expecting you to try to get them in your business. They are not expecting you to try to help them do what's best for them. And whether it's today, tomorrow, or later, they always come back to the person who puts them first. Put them first, and the last thing you'll ever have to worry about is your story. If you help them, they may never know your name, and they'll think you're the most interesting person they ever met. So keep on keeping on. Follow the leader. Always, always, always go to the resources around you that have the answers before you waste your time. And banging your head against your wall when someone around you can help you is a waste of time. Leaders, smart people, will always value time over money and will always spend a little money to save a lot of time. That's the best advice I can give you. Always value time over money. You can make more money. You cannot get more time.
Wow. Well, hey, Lisa, one more time, thank you very, 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 very much. And I'll be honest, don't tell Robert Hollis or Brian Crothers this, but this call was by far the best one we've had yet.
Oh, don't say that. I talked to Robert last night and Brian.
Hey, I talked to him too. It's all good.
They're you just needed to bring a little estrogen in. Those are guys. You're a guy. I'm just the feminine factor.
Okay, we'll take that. But guys, just understand how fortunate we all are, tonight to have her on the line, waking up early over in Hong Kong, and you're going to see her. If you guys go to the Network Marketing Pro event, I'm sure she'll be on that stage again, and, she is one of the most prominent, in my opinion, female. I would say she's the #1 female in the industry, and you guys just got an hour-long call, with her. We're gonna have this thing slashed and edited for YouTube. We'll have that out tonight. Get your entire teams to watch it and take notes. I'm going to rewatch it probably tonight and take more notes. And I learned a lot. I hope you guys learned a lot. So with that, Dream Team International, guys, it is now, what is it, Tuesday? It's Tuesday. We have until Thursday. This Thursday, rank advancement week ends. And understand, guys, it's the first half of the rank period. Where do you want to be? And here's the thing, knowledge. My teacher told me this one day, and I don't agree with this. She told me, Alex, knowledge is power. And I said, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only power if it's applied. You can be the smartest guy, the smartest girl on earth, have every degree on planet Earth, come the smartest people in the world. You can be, just the Bill Gates of life. And guess what? If you don't apply the knowledge, you don't apply the information, you don't apply the golden nuggets and the golden tips Lisa just gave you, a lady who's built a 1 million-person group, if you do not apply that, I don't even know why you're listening to this thing. So get the knowledge, learn the knowledge, relearn the knowledge, read it, write it, learn it, burn it into your mind, and go out there and apply it. And let's make this month better than last month. And let's hope you guys had the greatest the best year yet, and make the rest of your life the best of your life, guys. So Dream Team International, I support you guys. I love you guys. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm blessed to be able to sit on this call in front of hundreds of people and talk to you. And I'm extremely grateful for my relationship with Lisa Grossman. So bye for now. You guys have a great night. Lisa, thanks again. Much love.
Anytime, any place, anything I can do to help. I love what you guys are doing. I love that you're out making a difference, changing the world. And I love your energy. Congratulations on all your success. And you guys go make 2015 a great year for all the people you haven't talked to yet. They need you.
Boom. Thank you, guys.